Hello, my friend. Somewhere behind your eyes, in the warm dark inside your skull, sits the most mysterious object in the known universe. It weighs about 3 pounds. It has the soft, yielding texture of set jelly. And tonight, as you settle in to rest, it is quietly doing something that no scientist on Earth can fully explain. It is making you, you. Right now, it is listening to these words. It is holding the memory of this morning, the sound of my voice, the feeling of the bed beneath you. And not one of the billions of tiny cells doing this work has the faintest idea that you exist at all. We have mapped the floor of the deepest ocean and weighed distant stars. We have caught light from the very edge of the visible universe. And yet, the 3 pounds of tissue you carry between your ears remains, in so many ways, an unexplored wilderness, full of questions no one has answered, and a few that no one yet knows how to even ask. So let yourself grow still. Let your shoulders soften, let your breathing slow, and let your eyes close whenever they are ready. You don't need to follow every word, and you don't need to remember any of it. Tonight we are going to wander, slowly and gently, through the deepest mysteries of the human brain, the strange and beautiful riddles hidden inside the very thing that is listening to me now. Stay as long as you like. My friend, drift off whenever you wish. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the color red. There it is, warm, glowing, unmistakable. Now here's the strange part. If we were to place you inside the most advanced brain scanner ever built, we could watch the exact cluster of cells light up as you imagine that red. We could measure the faint electrical storms moving between them. We could trace the chemicals slipping across the gap from one cell to the next and map every signal with breathtaking precision. And nowhere in all of that data would we ever find the redness itself. We would see the machinery. We would never see the experience. This is the deepest unsolved problem in all of science, and it carries a quiet, almost humble name. Thinkers call it the hard problem of consciousness. It asks a question so simple that a child might ask it, and so difficult that no one has ever truly answered it. Why is any of this accompanied by an inner life at all? Think for a moment about what your brain actually is. It is a vast gathering of cells, made from the same ordinary atoms as everything else around you. The same carbon, the same oxygen, the same water you would find in a flowing river or a cold gray stone. Each one of those cells follows simple rules, passing along little pulses of electricity and chemistry to its neighbors. On paper, there is no reason this should feel like anything. A river does not feel the water moving through it. A rock warming in the afternoon sun does not enjoy the heat. And yet you, a particular arrangement of these same lifeless ingredients, are lying here in the soft dark, feeling the weight of your own limbs, hearing the sound of my voice, aware that you are aware. Somewhere between the firing of your cells and the world you are living in this very moment, something extraordinary happens. The lights come on. There is a witness. There is someone home. Scientists can study this from the outside in remarkable ways. They can tell you which regions of the brain grow quiet under anesthesia. They can watch certain networks fall silent in the deepest stretches of dreamless sleep. And they can see those same patterns return as a person drifts back toward waking. They can predict with growing accuracy when someone is conscious and when they are not. But all of this describes the when and the where. It never quite touches the why. Why should one particular rhythm of electrical activity be the taste of warm tea or the ache of an old memory, or the soft blue of the sky just after sunset? Why is it like anything at all to be a living brain? There are ideas, and it is worth saying very clearly that they are only ideas. Careful, serious attempts, but none of them proven. Some researchers suspect that experience arises when information is woven together in just the right way, when many parts of the brain share what they know all at once, so that the whole becomes something far greater than its scattered pieces. Others wonder whether the simple fact of experience is somehow built into the fabric of the universe itself, present in some faint and quiet form everywhere, and merely gathered and concentrated by a living mind. These are bold thoughts. None has been confirmed, and thoughtful people disagree about every one of them. The honest answer tonight is that we simply do not know. And here's the truly strange thing: the thought to let settle gently over you as you rest. The one fact you can be most certain of in the entire universe is that you are experiencing something right now. Not the distant stars, not the floor beneath you, not even your own body. All of those you know only through your senses, and your senses could in principle be fooled. But the simple fact that there is an experience happening at all, that the show is playing, of that you cannot possibly be wrong. The one thing you are most sure of is the very thing that science can least explain. You have carried this mystery with you everywhere, your whole life long. It was there in your very first morning, and it is here in this quiet evening. The most ordinary moment, the warmth of a blanket, the glow of a lamp, the sound of soft rain against a window, is also, when you look at it closely enough, the most miraculous and unexplained event in the known cosmos. So there is no need to solve it tonight. No one ever has. Let it simply be what it is: a soft, glowing wonder you can hold lightly in the dark. The quiet light of awareness shining behind your eyes, asking nothing at all of you. Tonight, like almost every night of your life, you will quietly leave this world and travel to another one. You will not pack anything. You will not move from where you lie. But at some point in the hours ahead, your eyes will begin to flick back and forth beneath their closed lids. Your breathing will shift, and you will slip into a place where rivers can run uphill, where people long gone can speak to you again, where you can stand in a house you have never seen and somehow know it is home. You will believe it all completely while it lasts, and in the morning, most of it will dissolve like mist. We call this dreaming. And after more than a century of careful study, the most honest thing science can say about it is that we still do not fully know what it is for. The state itself we understand quite well. For long stretches of the night, your brain settles into slow, deep rhythms, like gentle waves rolling onto a calm shore. But several times before morning, it does something curious. It springs back to life, almost as awake and electric as it is right now, while your body lies utterly still. During these stretches, named for the rapid movement of the eyes behind the lids, your muscles are softly switched off, held in a kind of gentle paralysis. It is as though some quiet wisdom inside you knows you are about to run and leap and fly through imagined worlds, and so it carefully keeps your sleeping body safe and motionless in the bed. What we cannot agree on is why any of this happens. Why a resting brain should bother to build entire worlds, complete with people and places and feelings, only to let them vanish by dawn. There are several beautiful theories, and each of them is still just that, a theory, not a settled fact. One idea suggests that dreams are a kind of overnight rehearsal, a safe practice ground where the mind plays out troubles and dangers so that you are better prepared to meet them in waking life. In this view, the strange and sometimes frightening shape of dreams is not a flaw but a feature, a way of trying out fear while no real harm can come to you. Another idea proposes that dreaming is part of how the brain sorts through the day, gently sifting the things worth keeping from the things worth letting go, weaving the loose threads of your experiences into the longer fabric of memory. A third suggests that during the night, the deep and ancient parts of your brain send up bursts of activity almost at random, and the rest of the mind, ever the storyteller, simply does its best to stitch those sparks into something that makes sense. A dream, in this telling, is the mind weaving a tale from whatever sparks happen to drift up from below. It may be that each of these holds a piece of the truth. It may be that dreaming does many things at once and that no single explanation can capture all of it. What stays with you when you sit with this gently is how much living you do in a place you cannot fully reach. A third of your life is spent asleep, and a good part of that is spent dreaming, walking through worlds your waking mind will never knowingly visit. There's a whole hidden life inside you, unfolding night after night, that you only ever glimpse in fragments upon waking. Part of what makes dreams so strange is how ordinary they feel from the inside. The most impossible things unfold, and you accept them without a flicker of doubt. A long-departed grandparent sits across from you, and you feel only that it is good to see them again. The room you are standing in slowly becomes a forest, and you simply walk on. Only on waking does the spell break, and the whole shimmering structure quietly collapses into something you cannot quite hold. Within minutes, most of it is gone, slipping away faster than you can name it, as though dreams were written in disappearing ink. And it is not only us. Watch a sleeping dog, its paws twitching, a soft muffled sound escaping as it chases something across a field only it can see, and it is hard not to believe that it too is dreaming. Many creatures with complex brains pass through the same electric, eye-flickering state that we do, and though we cannot ask them what they find there, the resemblance is striking. Dreaming, whatever it turns out to be for, seems to be ancient and widely shared, written deep into the sleeping brains of countless living things, long before there was ever anyone to wonder why. And perhaps that is its own kind of comfort, that even in deepest rest you are not simply switched off, waiting for morning. You are somewhere. You are still living, still feeling, still wandering through landscapes of your own quiet making. So as you drift now toward that border, there is nothing you need to do. The doorway will open on its own. The worlds will build themselves without any effort from you. And whatever you find on the other side tonight, you can let it come and let it go, like clouds moving slowly across a darkening sky. A scientist once spent 30 years searching for a single memory and never once found it. His name was Carl Lashley, and he set out to answer a question that sounds almost simple. When you learn something and hold it in your mind, where exactly does it go? Somewhere in the soft folds of the brain, he reasoned, there must be a physical trace, a particular place where each memory is stored, like a letter tucked into a drawer. He even gave this imagined trace a name. He called it the engram, and he devoted much of his life to hunting for it. He never caught it. And in failing, he uncovered something far stranger than what he had been looking for. Lashley taught animals to find their way through little mazes so that the path was firmly fixed in their minds. Then, very carefully, he would remove small pieces of the brain, searching for the one spot where that memory of the path might live. He expected that somewhere, if he looked hard enough, he would find the drawer and empty it, and the memory would vanish. But it never quite worked that way. He could take away one region, and the memory of the maze would dim a little, but remain. He could take away another, and again it would fade, but linger on. The memory did not seem to be hiding in any single place at all. It behaved as though it were spread thinly across the whole, smeared out across countless cells, like a scent that fills an entire room rather than sitting in one corner of it. This is the quiet mystery at the heart of memory. A single moment from your life, the face of someone you love, the melody of a song from long ago, does not appear to be filed away in one tidy spot. It seems instead to be woven across vast webs of cells, held in the pattern of their connections, in the particular way certain groups of them have learned to light up together. When you remember, you are not opening a drawer and lifting out a photograph. You are, in some sense, lighting up that whole pattern again, coaxing a scattered web back into the same shape it once held. In the years since Lashley, scientists have grown far cleverer, and they have begun to glimpse faint traces of these patterns, even to gently nudge them in the brains of animals. So the picture is no longer entirely dark, but the full story, how a lifetime of moments is truly held inside 3 pounds of living tissue, still stretches well beyond what anyone can fully explain. And there is a stranger truth still, one that is now well established. Each time you reach for a memory, you may quietly change it. Remembering is less like replaying a recording and more like telling a story aloud, and a story shifts a little with every telling. When you call a moment back to mind, the brain seems to take it apart and rebuild it. And in the rebuilding, small details can drift, soften, or rearrange. The memories you hold most dear, the ones you have revisited most often, may be the very ones that have wandered furthest from how things truly were. Not through any failing, but simply because you have loved them enough to return to them again and again. Think of all that a single memory can hold. The memory of a summer afternoon from childhood might carry the gold of the light, the smell of cut grass, the sound of someone laughing nearby, the warmth on your skin, and the particular feeling of being young and unhurried. And here is the wonder of it. Those different threads, the sight and the sound and the smell and the feeling, are not gathered together in one place. They are held in different regions of the brain, the very regions that first took each of them in. To remember the afternoon is to draw all of those scattered places into harmony at once, like separate instruments coming together to play a single chord. The memory is not a thing resting in a spot. It is a pattern, a moment of music played across the whole, and the scale of it is almost beyond imagining. A single human brain holds something on the order of 1,000 trillion connections between its cells, and any one memory may live in the delicate tuning of countless numbers of them. To search for one memory among all of that, as that patient scientist once tried to do, is a little like searching for one particular ripple in the whole of the sea. It is everywhere and nowhere at once, spread thin across an ocean of living tissue, far too deeply woven into the whole to ever be lifted out and held in the hand. It can be a tender thought, to sit with that. The past you carry is not a sealed vault. It is something living, something that breathes and changes ever so slightly each time you visit it. Your memories are less like stones and more like gardens, tended and reshaped by the gentle act of remembering. So tonight, as your mind wanders back over the day, or further still, over the long landscape of your life, there is no need to grip any of it tightly. The moments you hold are yours, and they will rest with you, and they will rearrange themselves softly in the dark, as they always have. Let them settle where they will, like leaves drifting down to the floor of a quiet forest, finding their own place without any help from you. There are people who are completely blind and who can still somehow see. This sounds like a contradiction, the sort of thing that cannot possibly be true. And yet it is one of the most carefully documented findings in the study of the brain. To understand it, picture the long journey that light takes when you look at the world. It enters your eyes and is turned into tiny electrical signals, which travel back through the brain to a region at the very rear of your skull, just above the nape of your neck. This region is where seeing, as you know it, comes together. It is where the signals from your eyes are turned into the rich, conscious picture of the world you experience every waking moment. Now imagine that this region, through injury, is damaged or destroyed, while the eyes themselves remain perfectly healthy. The signals still pour in, but the place that turns them into a seen picture is gone. The person will tell you, with complete and honest sincerity, that they are blind. In the part of their world the damage affects, they see nothing at all, only darkness. And here is where the strangeness begins. If you hold up a light somewhere in that dark region and ask them to simply guess where it is, they will protest that they cannot see anything, that there is nothing to point at. But if you gently encourage them to guess anyway, to just let their hand move, their finger will land on the light far more often than chance alone could ever explain. Ask them whether a shape is moving up or down, and though they swear they are only guessing, they will be right again and again. Something inside them is clearly registering the light. Something is seeing. And yet the person, the one who is aware, the one who would say, "I," experiences only darkness. In one remarkable case, a man who was blind in this way was asked to walk down a long corridor strewn with obstacles, boxes and chairs scattered across his path. He believed the corridor was empty. He set off, fully expecting to walk into nothing. And he wove his way down the whole length of it, stepping around every obstacle without touching a single one, guided by a sight he did not know he had. The leading explanation, and it is worth holding it as the leading explanation rather than a settled certainty, points to an older, deeper road in the brain. Long before our ancestors had the rich conscious vision we now enjoy, simpler creatures could already react to light and movement, steering toward food and away from danger. That ancient pathway still runs quietly through us all, beneath the newer one, doing its old and humble work without ever announcing itself to the conscious mind. When the newer route is broken, this older one carries on alone, guiding the body while leaving the person in the dark. There's an even gentler version of this strangeness, found with faces. Some people, blind in the way we have been describing, are shown a face wearing a clear expression, fear, perhaps, or happiness, and they insist they can see nothing at all. Yet when asked to simply guess the mood of the face they cannot see, they guess correctly far more often than chance would allow. More than that, their own face may quite quietly begin to mirror it, softening toward a smile when shown a smile they swear is invisible to them. The feeling of the face reaches them, even when the sight of it does not. Some part of us, it seems, reads the moods of others along a hidden channel, beneath the level where seeing becomes knowing. It helps to picture two roads running side by side through the brain. One is the grand, well-lit avenue of conscious sight, newer in the long story of life, the road along which the seen world arrives in all its richness and detail. Beside it runs an older, quieter lane, worn smooth over countless ages, the path our distant ancestors used to flinch from a shadow or turn toward a movement long before anything like rich awareness had appeared. In most of us, the Grand Avenue carries nearly all the traffic, and the quiet lane goes almost entirely unnoticed. But when the avenue is closed, the old lane is still open, still faithfully carrying its travelers, still guiding the body safely through a world the conscious mind has gone dark to. What lingers when you rest with this is the gentle and humbling thought it offers. So much of what you are runs quietly beneath your awareness, working faithfully in the background, asking for no thanks and no attention. Seeing, it turns out, and knowing that you see are two separate things, and only one of them ever reaches the surface where you live. There is something almost peaceful in that. As you lie here in the dark, your eyes closed, so much of you is still quietly at work, tending to you without needing you to watch. You can let go and trust that the deep and ancient parts of you will keep their watch through the night, as they always have, guiding you safely through to morning. Imagine the two halves of your brain as two quiet rooms, joined by a single great bridge. Across that bridge, hundreds of millions of fibers carry messages back and forth, all day and all night, so swiftly and so seamlessly that the two halves act as one. You never feel them as two. You feel like a single whole person, with one mind, one will, one stream of thought. But sometimes, to ease a severe and life-threatening kind of seizure, surgeons have very carefully cut that bridge. And when they do, something quietly astonishing comes to light. The left half of the brain and the right half each tend to look after the opposite side of the body and the opposite side of what you see. The left half controls and senses the right hand and takes in the right side of the world. The right half does the same for the left. In most people, the gift of speech lives mainly in the left half. So when the bridge is cut, and the two halves can no longer easily share what they know, researchers found they could quietly send a piece of information to just one half alone. And watch what happened. Show a word or a picture only to the half that cannot speak, and the person will say with complete sincerity that they saw nothing. Yet ask the hand controlled by that silent half to reach into a bag and find the matching object, and it will close around the right one without hesitation. One half of the brain knew. The other half, the one that does the talking, had no idea. And here's the part that stays with you. When you ask the talking half why the hand chose that object, it does not pause in confusion. It calmly makes up a reason, a plausible little story, and believes it completely, never suspecting that the true cause lay in a part of the mind it could no longer reach. It is as though there is a quiet storyteller living in the speaking half of the brain, forever weaving the scattered things we do into a smooth and sensible tale, so that we always feel like one person, acting for clear reasons we can name. Most of the time, this storyteller serves us beautifully. It is part of why your life feels like a single, continuous thread rather than a jumble of disconnected moments. This raises a question that has fascinated and unsettled thinkers for decades. If the two halves can know different things, want different things, even reach for different objects, then when that bridge is cut, are there briefly two centers of awareness inside one skull? Two minds where we always assumed there was one? It is a strange and weighty question, and it is important to say that it remains genuinely unsettled. Some careful recent work suggests that awareness may stay more unified than those early experiments seem to imply, that the person remains, in some deep sense, whole. The honest truth is that we do not yet fully understand what happens to the sense of self when the bridge comes down. There is a small demonstration that shows just how independent the two halves can become. Try, right now in your mind, to draw a square with one hand and a circle with the other, both at the very same time. For most of us, it is nearly impossible. The two hands interfere with each other, each one pulling the other toward its own shape, because the joined halves of our brain insist on working together as a single team. But a person whose bridge has been gently cut can sometimes do it with ease, the left hand tracing its circle while the right hand draws its square, each hand following its own half of the mind, like two quiet artists sharing a single desk and paying one another no mind at all. It is worth pausing on how seamless your own experience is. By comparison, you never feel two halves quietly negotiating. You never sense a seam running down the middle of your thoughts. The handing off between the two sides of your brain happens countless times in every moment, utterly without sound or join, so that the rich, whole, single world you live in arrives already gathered into one. The bridge does its work so perfectly, so silently, that you have never once noticed it working at all. What is gentle and quietly wondrous to sit with is what it suggests about all of us, bridge intact. The feeling of being one seamless person, one unbroken I, may be less a simple fact and more a kind of masterwork, something your brain is quietly weaving together moment by moment, stitching its many parts into a single smooth experience of being you. And tonight, that weaving asks nothing of you. The two halves of your mind rest together, joined and quiet, sharing the soft dark between them. You are whole, you are one, and you can let that wholeness settle over you like a blanket, needing no effort to hold yourself together. The seams do not show. They never have. A pill made of nothing but sugar can ease real, measurable pain. This is not a trick, and it is not imagination in the dismissive sense of that word. It is one of the most reliable and most studied effects in all of medicine, and it goes by a quiet Latin name: the placebo. Give a person a pill with no active ingredient at all, a little tablet of sugar or starch, and tell them it may help with their pain. And for a great many people, the pain truly does ease, not because they are pretending, but because something real has shifted inside the body. Headaches soften, aching joints loosen. In study after study, careful researchers have measured genuine changes following a treatment that, by every chemical measure, should do nothing whatsoever. How can belief reach into the body and change it? This is the heart of the mystery, and parts of it are slowly coming into focus, while the whole of it remains genuinely strange. We know, for instance, that the brain keeps its own store of natural pain relievers, gentle chemicals it can release to soften suffering. And it appears that the simple expectation of relief can prompt the brain to open that store and pour out its own medicine. We know this in part because there are substances that block the body's natural painkillers, and when those are given, the comfort brought by a placebo can fade away, as though the brain had been quietly mixing a real remedy all along, one that can be switched off at its source. The relief was never imaginary. It was the body dosing itself on the strength of a hope. Stranger still are the small details that shape how well it works. The color of a pill can matter. Its size can matter. A treatment that comes with a kind, attentive ritual, a careful examination, a reassuring word, tends to bring more relief than the same treatment offered briskly. The whole quiet theater of care, it seems, speaks to something deep in us, something that listens not only to the medicine, but to the gentleness around it. And here's perhaps the most surprising finding of all. In certain careful studies, people have been told outright that they are taking a placebo, a pill with nothing active in it whatsoever, and some of them have felt better anyway. Even knowing the truth, the body still seemed to listen. It is as though the very act of tending to oneself, of taking a small daily step toward feeling well, carries a power of its own. And the reach of this effect goes well beyond pain. In some conditions, the body has been seen to produce, on the strength of expectation alone, its own version of the very chemical a medicine would have supplied. People living with certain movement disorders, given a treatment they believed would steady their trembling, have had their symptoms genuinely ease, as the brain quietly released a substance it had been running short of, summoned not by any drug, but by the simple, hopeful expectation of relief. The hope did not merely soothe the mind. It changed the chemistry of the body in a way that could be measured. Picture, too, the quiet theater that surrounds being cared for, the calm of a warm room, the unhurried attention of someone who seems to have all the time in the world for you alone, the careful examination, the steady, reassuring voice, the small ritual of a remedy placed gently into your open hand. None of this is the medicine itself, and yet all of it seems to speak to something deep and very old in us, something that has always taken comfort from being tended, from the sense that one is held and looked after and safe. The body, it appears, listens not only to what it is given, but to the gentleness with which it is given. What stirs in you when you rest with this is a kind of quiet respect for the link between the mind and the body, a link far deeper than we often imagine. You are not a machine of separate parts, the body in one place and the mind in another. You are something woven together, where a hope held in the mind can ripple outward into flesh and blood, where expectation can become chemistry, where being cared for can itself become a kind of cure. There is a soft comfort in that thought to carry into sleep. Your body is always listening to you, gently, faithfully, even now. The calm you offer it tonight, the simple kindness of rest, the quiet trust that you are safe and that all is well, is not nothing. It is its own kind of medicine, and you are giving it to yourself, here in the dark, with every slow and easy breath. Long after a hand is gone, it can still feel an itch. People who have lost an arm or a leg very often report something that sounds impossible. They can still feel the missing limb, not as a memory, but as a vivid, living presence. They feel where the absent hand is resting. They feel its fingers and sometimes a wish to move them. They may feel warmth in it, or a tingle, or the maddening itch of a palm that is no longer there to scratch. The limb is gone, and yet to the person, it has not entirely left. This was given a fitting name long ago by a doctor who tended wounded soldiers. He called it the phantom limb. To understand how a vanished limb can still be felt, picture the way your brain holds a map of your whole body. Across the surface of the brain runs a kind of inner portrait of you, a stretch of tissue where each part of the body has its own patch. A patch for the hand, a patch for the face, a patch for the foot, all laid out in a strange and lovely order. This map is how the brain keeps track of where you are and what you are touching. Run your fingers along the edge of this blanket, and it is the map that tells you, instantly and effortlessly, that it is your fingers doing the touching and the blanket being touched. When a limb is lost, its patch on this map does not simply vanish along with it. The map still holds a place for the missing part. The territory remains, quietly expecting signals that no longer come. And so the brain, faithful to its map, can still produce the feeling of a limb that is no longer there, a hand drawn from the memory written into living tissue. There is a further wonder here, gentle and surprising. On that inner map, the patch for the hand lies right beside the patch for the face. And in some people who have lost a hand, the nearby face region quietly spreads into the now empty territory. When this happens, a touch on the cheek can be felt, astonishingly, in the missing hand. Stroke the face, and the phantom fingers feel the stroke. The map has gently rearranged itself, neighbor reaching softly into the space left behind. Sometimes, though, the phantom brings not comfort but pain. A missing hand may feel clenched into a tight fist that cannot be opened, the nails seeming to dig into a palm that is not there, with no way to release it. For a long time, this was a deep puzzle and a source of real suffering. And then came a treatment so simple it seems almost like a gentle magic trick. A mirror placed upright beside the person, angled so that the reflection of their remaining hand appears exactly where the missing one should be. The person looks down and sees two hands again. They move the real one, and in the mirror, the lost one moves too, opening, unclenching, set free at last. And for many, watching that reflected hand uncurl, the phantom pain quietly eases. The brain, shown the sight of a relaxed and open hand, seems to finally believe it and lets the tension go. Stranger still, there are people who were born without a limb, who never had a hand or an arm at all, and who nonetheless report feeling one. A phantom of something that was never there to begin with. This quiet puzzle hints that the brain's map of the body is not drawn entirely from experience, but comes, at least in part, already sketched. A faint outline of a whole human form, waiting in the tissue from the very beginning, expecting arms and legs and hands as though it somehow already knew their shape. And the map itself is wonderfully strange to look upon. It is not drawn to scale. The parts of the body richest in feeling, the lips, the hands, the tips of the fingers, take up enormous stretches of it, while broad regions like the back are given only a small and modest patch. If you could somehow see yourself drawn in the true proportions of this inner map, you would be a curious figure indeed, with great soft lips and vast sensitive hands and a small quiet torso, shaped not at all by how large each part appears in a mirror, but by how much of it you feel. It is a portrait of you, drawn entirely in the currency of sensation. What lingers when you sit with this is how real the body's map truly is. How the felt sense of having a body lives not only in the flesh but in the brain's quiet portrait of it. The shape of you that you carry through the world is, in part, a drawing made of living cells, faithfully held, gently maintained, and so deeply yours that it can outlast the very limb it represents. So as you lie here now, feel for a moment how completely and easily you fill your own body. The weight of your hands, the length of your legs, the soft sense of where you end and the bed begins. That quiet, effortless knowing is your inner map, drawn with great care and tending to you faithfully, holding the gentle shape of you as you drift down into sleep. Stare out of a window with nothing in particular on your mind, and your brain does not grow quiet. It comes alive. This is one of the quiet surprises of modern brain science. For a long time, it was assumed that when you stopped concentrating, when you let your thoughts go loose and idle, your brain would settle into something like standby, dimming down to wait for the next task. But when researchers looked closely, they found very nearly the opposite. The moment you stop attending to the outside world, a particular set of regions, scattered across the brain but acting together as one, quietly switches on and begins to hum. It has been given a fittingly gentle name, the default mode network, the state your brain settles into by default whenever you are not busy with anything else at all. And it is far from restful work. Consider this. Your brain makes up only about 1 part in 50 of your body's weight, and yet it quietly draws something like 1/5 of all the energy you burn. A great hungry organ, glowing with activity at every hour. And here's the strange part. When you sit down to a hard task, a difficult sum, a knotty problem, the extra energy your brain spends on it is surprisingly small. Most of its great appetite goes not to the things you consciously do, but to this vast, ongoing inner activity that never stops, running quietly beneath everything, even in the deep stillness of the night. One scientist gave it a lovely name. He called it the dark energy of the brain, the hidden, churning life that makes up most of what your mind is doing, almost none of which you ever notice. So what is all this restless inner activity for? Here wonder meets honest uncertainty, because the truth is that we are still working it out. What we do know is what tends to happen in your mind when this network takes the helm. Your thoughts begin to wander. You drift back to a conversation from this morning, then forward to something waiting for you tomorrow. You replay an old memory or imagine a future that has not yet come. You think about yourself, about who you are, about the people you love, and what they might be feeling. The wandering mind, it turns out, is not the brain idling. It is the brain doing some of its deepest and most personal work. The leading ideas about why, and they remain ideas rather than settled facts, all circle around this inner life. Some researchers think this network is how you quietly knit your experiences into the long story of yourself, weaving scattered moments into a continuous sense of being one person across time. Others suspect it is a kind of rehearsal space where the mind runs gentle simulations of what may lie ahead, imagining what might happen and how you might feel, so that you are better prepared to meet it. Still others believe it is when the brain does its housekeeping, sorting and filing the day, tending quietly to itself. It may well be doing all of these at once. It is a strange and lovely thing to consider as you lie here in the dark. So much of who you are lives in these idle, drifting moments, the daydreams on a long train ride, the thoughts that arrive unbidden as you fall asleep, the gentle wandering of a mind left to its own devices. We often think of these as empty time, the gaps between the real business of living, but they may sit closer to the heart of you than all your busy, focused hours. Your inner world, your sense of self, your quiet imaginings are built in this very state. You can feel the pull of it yourself if you ever try to think of nothing at all. Sit quietly and attempt to empty your mind completely, to hold it perfectly still and blank, and notice how quickly it slips away from you. Within a few moments, a thought has wandered in, a memory, a small worry, a stray scrap of a song, and you are off again, carried downstream before you even notice the current take hold of you. This is no failure of will. It is simply the deep nature of the mind, which seems unable to rest in true emptiness for long, and turns, almost gratefully, back toward its own quiet wandering. Even the practiced stillness sought in meditation is less an empty mind than a gentle watching of these drifting thoughts as they come and go. The river of thought always finds somewhere to flow, and it is a state you are likely sliding into right now. As you let go of the day, as your attention loosens its grip on the outside world, this gentle network is rising to take over, carrying your thoughts off on their own soft currents. There is nothing for you to steer. You can let your mind drift where it likes, from one half-formed thought to the next, like a small boat let loose on a still lake at dusk, turning slowly, going nowhere in particular, carried wherever the quiet water wishes to take it. There is a kind of sleep so deep that inside it no time passes at all. Most of us have never met it, and yet millions of people slip into it every year, on an operating table, under the watchful care of a doctor whose whole craft is to send people safely into that strange country and bring them gently back again. It is the sleep of general anesthesia, and it is not really sleep at all. It is something far stranger and far less understood than the rest you are drifting toward now. Picture how it goes. You lie down and a kind voice asks you to count slowly backward from 10. You reach 9, perhaps 8, perhaps 7, and then, with no sense of any gap, no dream, no darkness, no passing of time whatsoever, you open your eyes and it is over. Hours may have gone by, a whole surgery may have been carried out, but for you, there was nothing in between. Not a long night's sleep, not even a blank stretch of waiting, simply an edge and then the far side of it, pressed together as though no time had come between them at all. This is what sets anesthesia so far apart from ordinary sleep. When you sleep, time still passes for you in its own loose and shifting way. You dream, you stir and turn. Some quiet part of you stays on watch, ready to wake you at a sudden sound, the way a parent surfaces in an instant at the smallest cry from a child. Sleep is a soft and living thing, full of tides and currents. But anesthesia is closer to a switch. The light of awareness does not slowly dim. It goes out cleanly and completely, and then in time, it comes back. And here's the truly remarkable part. We have been doing this for well over a century, easing people down into that deep nowhere and returning them safely, millions upon millions of times. And we still do not fully understand how it works. We know which substances do it. We know a great deal about where they take hold in the brain, the tiny sites upon the cells where they gently quiet the usual chatter. But the deepest question, exactly how this erases the felt sense of being someone, how it switches off the inner light of experience itself, remains genuinely open. It is one of the strange blank spaces in all our knowledge, sitting in plain sight in every hospital in the world. There is a leading idea, and it is worth holding it as an idea still being tested rather than a final answer. When you are awake, the many regions of your brain are in constant conversation, each sharing what it knows, weaving all of it together into the single seamless world you experience. The leading thought is that anesthesia does not so much shut the brain down as quiet that great conversation. The individual regions may still flicker with their own small activity, but they stop speaking to one another in the rich, sweeping way they do when you are awake. And when the parts stop sharing, when the inner conversation falls silent, the unified experience of being you seems to simply dissolve. Awareness, in this view, is not kept in any single place. It lives in the talking together of the whole. And when that talking stops, so for a time do you. It gives one pause to rest with that gently. The you that is here right now, listening, feeling, aware, is something that can be switched off and switched back on. It leans upon your brain working together in a particular way, a delicate, ongoing harmony that can be quieted and then restored. And yet, restored it always is. That is the soft reassurance hidden inside this mystery. Through all those countless times, the light goes out, and then faithfully it returns. The self is handed back, whole, blinking into the quiet of the recovery room as though it had never been away. There is something quietly profound hidden in that missing stretch of time. We tend to imagine time as a river that flows on steadily whether we watch it or not, and out in the world it does. But the time you feel, the time that belongs to you, seems to be stitched together out of your own unbroken awareness. One moment handed gently to the next without a scene. When that awareness stops, your time stops along with it. Those vanished hours upon the table were not experienced as long or short or as anything at all. They simply were not there for you. It is as close as a living person ever comes to glimpsing the shape of their own absence, and then waking softly on the far side of it. So as you let yourself sink down tonight, you can rest in the knowing that ordinary sleep is gentler by far than that strange deep country. You are not going out like a switched-off lamp. You are only softening, drifting, slipping beneath the surface into the shifting tides of rest, where time still flows and dreams still wait their turn. You will pass the night in good and steady company with yourself, and you will rise again with the morning, carried back to waking as surely and as quietly as you have been every day of your life. You step into a room you have never entered, and at once you are certain you have stood here before. The feeling arrives from nowhere. The angle of the light, the arrangement of the furniture, the very shape of the moment unfolding around you, all of it seems uncannily familiar, soaked through with the strange certainty that this has all happened once already, exactly like this. And then, as swiftly as it came, it slips away, and you are left blinking in an ordinary room, wondering what it was that just brushed past you. The French gave it a simple name: déjà vu, already seen. Almost everyone knows this feeling. It tends to visit us more often when we are young, and to grow rarer as the years go by. It is fleeting, harmless, and utterly common, and yet it remains one of the small, genuine puzzles of the mind. Partly this is because it is so very hard to study. It cannot be summoned on command. It arrives unannounced and is gone within seconds, leaving little behind to examine. So the explanations we have are careful guesses rather than settled facts, and it is right to hold them as such. The most beautiful of these guesses rests on a quiet truth about memory. Within your mind, the sense that something is familiar and the act of actually recalling it are two separate things, handled along different paths. Usually they travel together. You see an old friend's face, it feels familiar, and in the same breath the memories come, the name, the shared history, the where and the when. But these two can, in principle, come apart. And the leading thought is that déjà vu is what happens when the feeling of familiarity fires off all on its own, with no real memory standing behind it. A fresh moment arrives, and the brain stamps it by mistake with the warm glow of recognition, a glow that ought to belong only to remembered things. You feel powerfully that you have been here before, while no actual memory steps forward to say when. The familiarity is real. The remembered past it seems to point toward simply is not there. There are other ideas too. Some have wondered whether it's a tiny hiccup in timing, a single moment somehow registered twice, a heartbeat apart, so that the second arrival feels like a faint memory of the first. And researchers have found a real clue in the brain itself. In certain people, gentle electrical disturbances in a particular region deep within the temporal lobe, a part of the brain bound up with much of our memory, can bring on a vivid wash of déjà vu, as though that region, when stirred, can produce the feeling entirely on its own. In careful experiments, scientists have even managed to create something very like déjà vu in willing volunteers, by quietly building up a sense of familiarity for a scene the person could not quite place. The feeling can be coaxed gently into being, but the full and final account of why it visits us in everyday life is still being written. There is even a strange mirror image of this feeling, and it carries its own name, jamais vu, where déjà vu drapes the new in a false sense of the familiar. Jamais vu does the very reverse, draining the familiar of all its familiarity. You have likely felt a flicker of it yourself. Stare at a common, everyday word for long enough, or say it over and over softly to yourself, and watch it slowly come apart, the letters turning suddenly strange and arbitrary, the meaning quietly draining away, until it sits there looking like nothing you have ever seen before. The word has not changed in the slightest. Your sense of knowing it has simply let go for a moment. Together, these two odd cousins reveal something gentle and surprising. The feeling of familiarity is its own quiet thing, a soft signal the brain adds to experience, and it can wax and wane and slip loose of the plain facts entirely. It is a small, gentle reminder, this fleeting sensation, of something easy to forget. The feeling of remembering and the truth of having remembered are not the same. Your sense of what is familiar, what is real, what has happened before, is not a perfect record handed to you from somewhere outside. It is a feeling your brain produces, moment by moment, usually with wonderful accuracy, but not always. And in that rare instant when the machinery slips, you catch a brief, dizzying glimpse of just how much of your steady, solid reality is quietly being assembled behind the scenes. But there is nothing in it to trouble you. Déjà vu is one of the mind's gentlest curiosities, a soft ripple passing across the surface of an ordinary moment. It comes, it stirs a faint wonder, and it goes, leaving everything just as it was before. So if it ever drifts over you again, in some quiet room on some ordinary day, you can simply let it pass through you like a breath of cool air here and then gone, asking nothing, meaning no harm, a small strange gift from the deep machinery of a mind that is even now far more mysterious than you know. The drivers of London's old black cabs carry the whole tangled map of the city inside their heads, and you can see the mark it leaves upon their brains. To earn their license, these drivers must master something with a grand and daunting name: the knowledge. It means learning by heart the bewildering maze of London's streets, thousands upon thousands of them, every twist and turn and shortcut, every square and lane and one-way road, until they can trace a path from any point to any other without a moment's hesitation. It takes years of patient study to hold a whole city in the mind this way. And when scientists looked closely at the brains of these drivers, they found something quietly astonishing. A particular region, a small seahorse-shaped structure tucked deep within the brain that helps us build maps of the world and find our way through it, was measurably larger in the cab drivers than in other people. And the longer a driver had spent learning and roaming the city, the larger this region had grown. Their effort had left a physical trace. The simple act of learning had reshaped the living tissue of their brains. This is the quiet wonder that scientists call plasticity, and it overturns an old and stubborn belief. For a long time, the grown-up brain was thought to be more or less fixed, a finished structure, set hard like clay left out too long in the sun. But we now know it is nothing of the sort. Your brain is far more like a landscape that is forever being gently reshaped, day after day, by everything you do. Learn to play an instrument, and the regions that guide your fingers and drink in the music grow richer and more closely woven. Take up juggling, and the parts that track movement through space will thicken with practice, then soften again if you set the balls down and walk away. The connections you use are strengthened, worn into deeper grooves like footpaths trodden across a meadow. The ones you neglect grow faint and are quietly cleared away. There's an old saying among brain scientists that catches the heart of it, a rough summary rather than the whole truth. The cells that fire together wire together, and this gift does not vanish with age. Even late in life, even after injury, the brain can find new ways. When one region is harmed by a stroke, others can slowly take up some of the lost work, finding fresh routes around the damage. In people who have lost their sight, the part of the brain that once handled vision does not simply fall dark and idle. It is quietly given new work, lending its power to touch and to hearing, so that the reading fingertips of someone who reads by touch may light up the very regions that, in another life, would have served the eyes. The brain does not waste what it has. It rebuilds, it adapts, it makes new use of itself. Consider the hands of someone who has played a stringent instrument since childhood. On one hand, the fingers are forever pressing and shifting against the strings, each one moving with a delicate independence all its own, while the other hand simply holds and draws the bow. And when scientists looked, they found that the region of the brain devoted to feeling those busy, dancing fingers had grown noticeably larger than the region for the other hand, expanded steadily by years of practice begun long ago. The map of the body held inside the brain had quietly redrawn itself, giving more and more room to the parts most lovingly used. The music had, in the most literal sense, reshaped the musician. And the earlier in life such practice begins, the deeper the mark it tends to leave, as though the young brain were softer clay, more readily pressed into a new and lasting shape. There is something quietly freeing in this, something gentle to let your mind rest upon. You are not a fixed and finished thing. You are being written and rewritten by your own living. Every skill you have ever practiced, every place you have come to know by heart, every face you can call to mind in the dark, has left its small mark in the soft architecture inside your skull. You have shaped your own brain without ever meaning to, simply by living your life as you have lived it. And you are shaping it still. And there is a tender place for sleep in all of this. Much of the brain's quiet rebuilding happens not while you are busy and awake, but in these very hours of rest, when the day's learning is gently sorted, settled, and woven more firmly into place. The things you reached for today, the small efforts you made, are being quietly tended to even now, knit a little more deeply into who you are. So the brain you wake with tomorrow morning will not be quite the same as the one drifting off to sleep tonight. It will be, in some small and silent way, a little more itself, gently remade by the simple fact of your having lived another day. Let that quiet remaking carry you down now, like soft hands smoothing fresh clay, into rest. For one person is a soft forest green, and it always has been. Not green because they once decided so, or learned it from a colored chart in childhood. It is simply plainly green, in the way the sky is blue to the rest of us, an immediate and effortless fact of how the world appears to them. Show them a 5 printed in black ink on white paper, and they will see the black well enough, and yet some quiet green will hang about it all the same. For them, every letter and every number carries its own particular color, steadily, faithfully, across the whole of their life. This gentle blending of the senses has a name: synesthesia, a joining together of things that, for most of us, are kept carefully apart. It takes many forms, each its own small marvel. For some, it is letters and numbers that glow with color. For others, music blossoms into shifting hues, so that a violin might pour out streams of deep gold, while a piano scatters cool flecks of blue. A whole symphony unfolding as a moving picture of light. A rarer few taste words upon the tongue, so that a name might carry the faint flavor of something sweet, or metallic, or warm. And some feel time itself laid out in space, the days of the week or the months of the year arranged in a shape that hangs in the air around them. A shape they can almost turn toward and gaze upon. What makes it so striking is how steady and how involuntary it all is. The 5 that is green is always exactly the same green. The synesthete does not choose these pairings and cannot switch them off, any more than you could choose to stop seeing the color of a clear summer sky. The joinings are simply there, from earliest memory, woven into the very grain of how they perceive the world. And they tend to run in families, passed down like the color of one's eyes, which hints at something written deep in the way a particular brain is built. As for why it happens, we have a leading explanation, though it is worth holding it gently, as the best current understanding rather than the final word. In all our brains, different senses and different ideas are handled by different regions, and ordinarily these are kept somewhat apart, each tending to its own quiet work. The thought is that in a synesthete's brain, there are simply richer connections between certain of these regions, or thinner walls standing between them, so that activity in one spills softly over into another. When the part that recognizes a number stirs, it nudges the part that handles color, and a hue blooms unbidden. There is even a gentle theory that all of us begin life a little this way. Our infant brains more freely cross-wired, the senses mingling together, and that for most of us, these extra connections are quietly trimmed away as we grow, while in some fortunate few they happily remain, and no two synesthetes are ever quite alike. One person's 5 may be a soft forest green, while another's is a deep wine red, and a third may feel no color in numbers at all, but hear it instead pouring out of music. There is no master key, no single correct chart of which letter wears which color. Each synesthete carries their own private set of pairings, built uniquely within their own brain, a small secret palette belonging to no one else who has ever lived. It is little wonder that so many painters and poets and musicians down the years have described this very gift and drawn upon it in their work, finding in their gently crossed senses a quiet wellspring of unexpected beauty. It is worth saying plainly that this is no affliction. Synesthetes, by and large, treasure their extra layer of the world and would not part with it for anything. For many, it lends a richness to memory, a 5 that is forest green and a Thursday that is amber being far easier to hold on to than bare and colorless facts. Their world is simply painted in a few more shades than ours. And here's the soft, humbling thought to carry with you into the dark. The world you see is not the world itself. It is a version of the world built inside your head, painted in the particular palette your own brain happens to use. The colors you see, the way sounds stay apart from sights, the plain and ordinary surface of things, all of it is one way of putting the world together. And the synesthete shows us gently that it could be assembled otherwise. There is no single, true picture of reality that brains merely receive and hold up like a mirror. There are only the many quiet versions each of us is forever making. So rest now in your own version, whatever its colors. The particular way your mind paints the world is yours alone, shaped by you, unlike any other that has ever been or ever will be. And as you drift down toward sleep, you can let the colors of your own seeing soften and blur and run gently together, the way they always do at the very edge of dreaming, where the careful walls between the senses grow thin and a sound might carry a color, and the whole world begins at last to blend. Inside your belly lives something that can fairly be called a second brain. It is not a brain in the sense of thinking thoughts or holding memories, but lining the long, winding tube of your gut is a vast web of nerve cells, something on the order of 500 million of them, woven through the walls of your insides like a fine and intricate net. It is large enough and clever enough that it can run a great deal of its own affairs without ever checking in with the brain up in your head. The slow, patient work of digestion, the gentle muscular waves that ease a meal along through the dark, are largely managed down here by this quiet network all its own. Scientists, struck by its size and its independence, gave it a fitting nickname: the second brain. And the two brains, the one in your skull and the one in your gut, are forever in conversation. Running between them is a great wandering nerve, a kind of living cable that carries messages back and forth between your head and your depths. And here is a detail that surprises many people when they first hear it. Far more of its fibers carry word upward from the gut to the brain than ever travel the other way. Your belly, it turns out, is endlessly reporting to your head, sending up a steady stream of news from deep within. The brain in your skull may feel like the one in command, but it is listening, far more than it is speaking, to the quiet murmurings of the gut. You have felt this conversation, even if you never gave it a name, the flutter of butterflies before something that matters greatly to you. The heavy, sinking weight low in the belly when hard news arrives. The way fear or worry seems to gather not in the head but lower down, in the very center of you. We speak of a gut feeling, of knowing a thing in our gut, and these are not merely turns of phrase. They point toward something real, a genuine current of feeling that runs between the belly and the mind, older and deeper than words. And there is more here still, though now we must tread carefully and honestly, for the science is young, and a great deal of it is still being worked out. Your gut is home to a vast and teeming population of tiny living things, trillions of bacteria and other microbes, a quiet civilization dwelling within you, more numerous than you might ever believe. In recent years, researchers have begun to wonder whether these tiny tenets might do far more than merely help break down your food. A growing body of studies, many of them so far carried out in animals rather than in people, hints that the makeup of this inner garden might gently shape mood and calm and perhaps even behavior, possibly whispering up along that great wandering nerve to touch the very workings of the mind. It is a remarkable possibility and a lively frontier of science, but it must be said plainly that the full picture, above all in human beings, is still emerging, and the firm answers are not yet in. This is a door only beginning to open, and we cannot yet see all the way through it. Here is one more curious thread, to be handled with the same care. A great deal of the body's serotonin, the very same molecule so often bound up with mood and contentment, is made not in the brain at all, but down in the gut. The greater part of it, in fact, is produced in your insides. Now, much of that serotonin appears to do its work locally, helping to govern the gentle movements of digestion rather than reaching up to color your feelings directly. And the exact ways the chemistry of the gut and the moods of the mind are linked together are still being patiently untangled. So it would be far too simple to say that the belly makes your happiness. But it is a striking thing all the same that a substance so closely tied to how we feel should be quietly brewed in such great quantity in the warm dark of the gut. Perhaps then, the old sayings were truer than we ever guessed, that we feel with more of ourselves than just the heart, and think with more of ourselves than just the head, that the self is not some small commander seated alone behind the eyes, issuing orders to an obedient body below, but something spread throughout the whole of you, a quiet collaboration between your thinking mind and the deep, wordless intelligence of your living body. And that body is tending to you faithfully, even now, as you lie still in the dark. Far below the reach of thought, the slow work carries on. The gentle tides of digestion, the steady hum of the second brain, the vast unseen life within you, all of it quietly keeping you, asking nothing whatever of your attention. You can let your awareness sink down out of your busy head and rest just for a while, lower in the warm and breathing center of yourself, where the body does its patient work without a single word. There is nothing here for you to manage. The deep parts of you know exactly what to do, and have always known, and will carry on through the whole of the long night, watching over you as you sleep. Surgeons can remove half of a child's brain, and that child can still grow up to run, to laugh, to learn, and to be entirely themselves. It sounds like something that could not possibly be true, yet it is one of the most remarkable facts in all of medicine. In rare and serious cases, when a child suffers seizures so relentless and so devastating that they threaten to harm the whole brain, doctors may take an extraordinary step. They remove or quietly disconnect an entire half of the brain. One of the two great hemispheres, the left or the right, gone or sealed away. And the children who come through this often go on to live full and ordinary lives. They walk and they talk. They go to school and make friends. They keep their memories, their sense of humor, their likes and their dislikes, the whole of who they are. From the outside, you would very often never guess that anything at all was missing. How can this be? How can a person remain whole and remain themselves with only half the usual brain? The answer lies in the astonishing flexibility of a young mind. A child's brain is still soft and still growing, still finding its final shape, and within it lies a deep and quiet power to adapt. When one half is taken away, the half that remains does something close to heroic. It takes up the missing work. Abilities that would normally have lived in the lost hemisphere, even something as precious as language, can slowly migrate across and find a new home in the half that is left, which reorganizes itself patiently to do the work of two. The younger the child when this happens, the more fully the remaining half can rise to meet the task. The brain redraws its own map, quietly shifting where things live, refusing to surrender what it can still hold on to. It would not be honest to say there is no cost at all. Often some lasting mark remains, a weakness along one side of the body, perhaps, or a portion of the field of vision that does not come back, since each half of the brain tends to the opposite side of the body and the world. But what endures is so much greater than what is lost. The child remains fully a person, fully here, their inner life intact, often running and playing and growing as though the brain within them were entirely ordinary. It overturns something we quietly assume about ourselves, this fact. We tend to picture the brain as a fixed machine, each part bolted in its place with its own single job, so that to lose a piece would be to lose a function forever, the way a clock falls still if you pull out one of its gears. But the living brain is nothing so rigid. It is fluid, resourceful, forgiving. What makes you who you are does not seem to be locked away in any one particular piece of tissue. It is something the whole brain holds together, and something it can, against all odds, hold together still, even when half of it is gone. There is a deep reassurance hidden in this, a gentle thing to carry with you into the quiet. You are more resilient than you know. The mind that makes you is not a brittle, fragile thing, easily and permanently broken. It is supple and adaptive, built to find new paths, to heal, to carry on, to protect the precious sense of being you through storms that ought by every measure to have undone it. Deep within, you are made to endure. There is a tempting way to picture the brain, drawn from the machines we know best. We imagine it as something like a computer, its functions wired into fixed circuits, each task assigned to its own unalterable place, so that to damage the circuit is to lose the function for good. But a child thriving with a single hemisphere quietly tells us that the brain is something altogether more alive than that. It is less like a machine and far more like a forest, which, when a great swath of it is lost, does not simply stand there broken and bare, but slowly sends out new growth, reaching toward the light along fresh paths, knitting itself back into a living whole. The functions were never bolted permanently into place. They could move. They could be taken up elsewhere. The brain, it turns out, is forever ready to rebuild itself around whatever it has lost. So picture, if you like, one of those children somewhere out in the world tonight, asleep in a warm and darkened room, their breathing slow and even, their dreams unfolding as richly as anyone's ever could. Whole and peaceful and entirely themselves, carried gently through the night by a brain that quietly rebuilt itself around all that it had lost and found a way against everything to keep them safe and dreaming. And you too are held by that same deep and patient resilience as you let yourself sink down now into rest. Almost everything your brain is doing this very moment you will never once notice. As you lie here, listening, a vast and silent work is going on inside you, far beneath the surface of your awareness. Your heart is being held to its steady rhythm. Your breath is being drawn in and let out over and over without a single thought from you. The exact tension in 100 small muscles is being adjusted ceaselessly to hold you just so. The great flood of signals pouring in from your eyes and your ears and your skin is being sorted, filtered, and quietly tidied into the smooth, simple world you seem to perceive without any effort at all. None of this ever reaches you. None of it asks your permission. It simply happens, faithfully, endlessly, in the dark. The truth is that the conscious mind, the part of you that thinks in words and feels itself to be in charge, is only a small lit window in an enormous darkened house. Behind that window, room after room after room stretches away into shadow, each one busy with work you will never see. The vast majority of all your brain does, it does entirely without you. You are shown only the smallest, neatest summary of it all, like a single calm headline at the top of a newspaper whose countless inner pages you will never read. And this hidden mind is no mere machine of simple reflexes. It is clever, and it labors on your behalf in ways that can feel almost like quiet magic. You have surely known the experience of wrestling with a problem, giving up, turning away to sleep or to some other task, and then, hours later, having the answer arrive whole and unbidden, as though some quiet part of you had gone on working at it all the while. Because it had. You recognize a friend's face in a crowd in an instant, long before you could ever explain how you did it. You catch a falling cup before you have even decided to reach for it. Somewhere beneath that lit window, a swift and wordless intelligence is forever at work, handling far more than the small conscious self ever could. There is a finding here that has fascinated and unsettled thinkers for many years, and it deserves to be told carefully. In certain experiments, when people are asked to make a simple free choice at a moment of their own choosing, faint signals of that choice can sometimes be seen stirring in the brain a little before the person feels themselves consciously decide. What this truly means is fiercely debated, and it is only right to say so plainly. Some take it to raise deep questions about how free our choices really are. Others argue that it shows nothing of the kind, that the full picture is far more subtle than it first appears. The matter is genuinely unsettled, and thoughtful people disagree. But what is not in any doubt is the sheer depth of the unconscious mind, the vast preparation and processing that goes on quietly beneath the thin surface where you live. You may have felt the strangeness of this most clearly on a familiar journey. Many people know the experience of driving a well-known route, lost in thought or an easy conversation, and then arriving and realizing with a small jolt that they remember almost nothing of the trip at all. The turns were taken. The other traffic was watched and answered. The whole complex task was carried out with skill and care, and yet the conscious self was somewhere else the entire time, off wandering its own thoughts, while some deeper part of the mind quietly did the driving. It is a small everyday reminder that you are capable of a great deal without ever once stepping in to watch. The hidden mind is not waiting helplessly for your instructions. Much of the time, it is simply quietly getting on with things all on its own. It is humbling and somehow freeing to rest with this in the dark. The small talking self you think of as you is riding gently atop a great silent ocean of activity that does most of the living for you and does it well and asks for nothing at all in return. You could not possibly attend to it all. You were never meant to. You are allowed to simply float on the surface while the deep does its faithful work below, so you can let that conscious window grow dim now. You do not need to keep watch over your own breathing or your heartbeat or any of the 1,000 quiet things being tended so carefully within you. They will carry on without you, as they always have, as they will all through this night. Let the small, bright light of your awareness soften and fade, and trust the vast, kind dark beneath it to keep you and hold you and see you safely through to the morning. There is no clock anywhere inside your head, and yet you feel each moment slipping past. Search the brain as carefully as you like, and you will find no ticking timepiece, no single organ whose one job is to measure out the seconds. And yet the feeling of time is among the most constant companions of your whole life. You sense the present moment passing into the next. You feel in your bones the difference between a heartbeat and an hour. Somehow, out of the activity of a great many regions all working together, the brain weaves the steady flowing sense of time that carries you through your days. And here's the strange and wonderful part. That sense of time is not steady at all. It stretches, it shrinks, it bends. You know this from your own life. A dull afternoon with nothing to do and nowhere to be can seem to stretch on endlessly, each minute thick and slow as honey. And a wonderful evening among people you love can vanish in what feels like a single breath, the hours gone before you ever knew it. The clock on the wall ticked at precisely the same pace through both of them. It was your inner sense of time that swelled and contracted, painting one as endless and the other as fleeting. Stranger still is what happens in moments of sudden fear. People who have lived through a frightening fall or a near accident often say that time seemed to slow, that the world drifted into a kind of dreamy slow motion, every detail crisp and lingering. For a long while it was thought that the mind must somehow speed up in danger, taking everything in more quickly. But careful study suggests something more subtle, and it is worth holding this as the leading understanding rather than the final word. In those charged moments, the brain seems to lay down its memories far more thickly than usual, capturing the event in unusual richness and detail. And later, looking back, the mind reads all that density as length. The moment did not truly slow as it happened, it only swelled in the remembering, the way a richly detailed story takes far longer to tell. And then there is the way time quietly speeds up across a whole life. To a small child, a single summer can feel almost eternal, an endless golden expanse with no horizon. To someone older, The years begin to slip by faster and faster until whole seasons seem to pass in a blink. There are gentle theories about why, none of them the final, settled answer. One suggests that each passing year is a smaller and smaller fraction of all the years you have already lived, and so feels proportionally shorter. Another points to novelty, to the simple fact that childhood is crowded with first times, each one fresh and vivid and deeply marked, while the well-worn days of later life tend to blur together, leaving fewer distinct footprints in the memory, so that time seems, in the looking back, to have quietly contracted. The brain can even be caught quietly inventing time, in a small trick so common that you have likely lived it without ever noticing. Glance suddenly at a ticking clock, and you may find that the very first second after your eyes land seems to stretch on a touch too long, the second hand appearing to hang there, frozen, before it finally moves on. What has happened is gentle and strange. In the brief instant your eyes were darting toward the clock, the world was a blur, and rather than show you that smear of motion, the brain quietly erased it and stitched in a single still image instead, then backdated that image, filling the gap with the first frozen second, so that your experience would feel smooth and unbroken. You were handed a small invented stretch of time and never knew the difference. The seamless present you live in is, in part, being gently fabricated as you go. And so the time you live in is not quite the time the clocks keep. It is something softer and far more personal, painted freshly by your own brain, colored by your fear and your joy, your boredom and your wonder. Each of us moves through a private weather of time, our own slow, unhurried hours and our own vanishing ones, none of it ever quite matching the cool, indifferent ticking of the world's machines. There's something freeing in remembering this. Here at the close of the day, the clock may say whatever it says, but the time that truly belongs to you bends to how you live it. And right now, in this quiet, you can let it stretch. You can let this gentle hour grow wide and slow and spacious, with nowhere to rush off to and nothing at all to chase. As you drift down towards sleep, time itself begins to loosen and to soften and to come undone, the way it always does at the threshold of dreams, where minutes and hours lose their sharp edges and you slip at last out of time altogether, into the long quiet that knows no clock at all. Search your whole brain for the place where you live, and you will never find it. This is one of the quiet puzzles at the very heart of who we are. You feel, with complete certainty, that there is a single you in there, somewhere behind your eyes. One continuous person, looking out, the same self who woke this morning and who lay down as a small child years and years ago. It seems the most obvious fact in all the world, and yet, if you go looking inside the brain for that single self, for one small place where the real you resides and watches and decides, you will search in vain. There is no inner chamber, no command center, no tiny figure seated at the controls. There are only countless cells in countless regions, each one doing its own small part, and nowhere among them a single spot you could point to and say, there, that is the self. So where then are you? A growing view among those who study these things, and it is worth holding gently as a leading idea rather than a proven fact, is that the self is not a thing at all, but something the brain is forever doing, a process rather than a place. In this view, your sense of being one unified person is something quietly woven together, moment by moment, out of all those scattered parts, the way 1,000 separate threads can be drawn into the single smooth picture of a tapestry. The brain gathers your memories, your sensations, your inner voice, your sense of the body, and binds them all into one seamless experience of being someone, and it labels that experience you. The self, in this telling, is a kind of story the brain tells, gracefully and ceaselessly, so convincingly that you live inside it without ever once glimpsing the telling. It is important to say that thoughtful people disagree about all of this, and that it remains a deep and open question rather than settled science. But if there is truth in it, it casts an unexpected and rather beautiful light on what you are. Think of a melody. No single note is the melody. You cannot point to one note and say, "There, that is the tune." The melody lives only in the notes flowing one into the next, in the pattern as it moves across time. Or think of a candle flame, seeming to stand so steady and so constant through the evening, and yet always made of new fire, never for a single instant the same. Continuous, not because it is fixed, but because it keeps gently renewing itself. You may be something far more like these than like a fixed and solid object, less a thing that endures unchanged and more a quiet, living happening, made new again and again. There is a quiet echo of this in the body itself. The flesh that makes you up is not the same flesh you wore as a small child. Across the years, cell by cell, atom by atom, your body quietly trades itself in for new material. The old continually swept away and the new continually built in its place, so that much of the very substance of you is exchanged and renewed many times over across a lifetime. And yet through all of it, you feel like the same person, unbroken, carried whole from one year to the next. What stays constant then was never the stuff you are made of. It is the pattern, the ongoing shape of you, holding steady even as the material flows on through it. The way a wave keeps its form while the water within it is always passing through and moving on. You are not so much a thing that lasts as a pattern that persists. There is, in the end, something deeply gentle in this, something to ease you rather than unsettle you as you rest. If the self is a process, then it is not some fragile object you must clutch tightly to keep it from shattering. It is a flowing thing, a tune that goes on playing, a flame that goes on renewing, asking no effort at all from you. You do not have to work to hold yourself together tonight. The weaving simply happens, on its own, as it has every day of your life and through every night of your sleep, gathering you softly back together each morning without your lifting a finger. So you can loosen your grip entirely now. You can let the busy storyteller in your mind grow quiet. Let the threads go gently slack. Let the careful sense of being a single, separate, watchful self soften and blur at its edges. Nothing will be lost. You will still be here in the morning, gathered and whole, the tune picked up again, the flame quietly relit. For now, simply let yourself be what you've always been beneath the story. A soft and living process, flowing gently onward, dissolving without the slightest fear into the quiet of sleep. Picture an apple. Some people see one at once, glowing and red and round, hanging there clearly in the mind's eye. Others see nothing at all. This is one of the most surprising discoveries about the inner life, all the more so for having stayed hidden in plain sight for so very long. When most people are asked to imagine something, a face, a beach, a piece of fruit, they can summon up a picture of it behind their closed eyes. The image may be faint or vivid, fleeting or steady, but it is there. a kind of seeing without the eyes. And yet there are people, many more than anyone once supposed, for whom this inner picture simply does not appear. Ask them to imagine the apple, and they will tell you with complete and easy honesty that they see nothing whatsoever, only darkness. And here's the deeper marvel of it. They still know the apple perfectly well. They can tell you that it is red, that it is round, that it might be sweet or sharp upon the tongue. The knowledge is all there, complete and ready. It simply arrives with no picture attached to it at all. This way of being has been given a name only recently: aphantasia, a mind without a mind's eye. Many who have it pass much of their lives never knowing they are any different from anyone else. They hear others speak of picturing a loved one's face, or counting imaginary sheep, or watching a scene from a book unfold before them, and they quietly assume it is all merely a figure of speech, a poetic way of putting things. The discovery that other people are quite literally seeing images, vivid and real, behind their closed eyes can come as a genuine astonishment, arriving sometimes only well into adulthood. And the inner world stretches the other way too, every bit as far. At the opposite end from those who picture nothing are those whose mental images are nearly as vivid and detailed as true sight, so rich and so present that imagining a thing is almost like standing before it in the flesh. Between these two distant shores lies every shade in between, and each of us, all our lives long, has simply assumed that our own place upon that spectrum is the way it must be for everyone. What makes this even gentler and stranger is that many who cannot summon a picture by choice in their waking hours still report seeing images freely in their dreams, when the mind paints without being asked. The power to make inner pictures seems not to be simply present or absent, but to run along quiet, separate channels, some within reach of our will, and some that stir only on their own in the dark while we sleep. And it is not only pictures that differ so widely from one mind to the next. Quiet down for a moment and listen to your own mind, and you may notice a voice in there, your inner voice, narrating your thoughts in words, almost as though you were speaking silently to yourself. For many people, that inner voice is a near constant companion, keeping up a running stream of quiet talk all through the day. And yet, there are others for whom it is faint, or rare, or all but absent, who think in ways that lean far less on words, and who are genuinely amazed to learn that anyone carries a chattering voice around inside their head at all. The same proves true of inner music, of imagined smells and tastes and textures. In every sense, it seems, some minds are richly furnished within, and others are spare and quiet, and almost none of us ever suspects how different the room next door might truly be. And here's the tender truth, hidden in all of it. We can never truly step inside another mind and see how it looks from within. You have no way of knowing whether the friend beside you, picturing the same remembered afternoon, sees it ablaze with color or holds it as a bare and wordless knowing. The inner world is utterly private, sealed away, glimpsed only through the clumsy little windows of words, which can hint at what lies within, but never quite show it plainly. Each of us walks through life inside a theater that only we will ever see, quietly certain and quite possibly mistaken that everyone else's looks just the same as our own. So tonight, rest gently in your own inner world, whatever it happens to hold. Perhaps as you lie here, you can picture the soft places that bring you peace, a warm room, a quiet shore, a beloved face, conjured up clear and bright behind your eyes. Or perhaps you hold them another way entirely, as a calm and pictureless knowing, no less real and no less yours for having no image at all. There is no right way for the inside of a mind to look. There is only your way, singular and secret and wholly your own, the private little universe behind your eyes, dimming now, softening now, drifting down with you into sleep. Inside your head, right now, there are more connections than there are stars in the night sky. It is a difficult thing to truly take in. Within the soft, quiet bowl of your skull sit some 86 billion nerve cells, each one a living thing in its own right. And not a single one of them works alone. Each reaches out to others, branching like a tiny tree, making contact with thousands upon thousands of its neighbors, passing along its small whispers of electricity and chemistry. When you add together all of those meeting points, every place where one cell reaches out and touches another, the number climbs into the realm of the truly staggering. Perhaps 100 trillion of them. Perhaps far, far more. So many that they outnumber the stars of our entire galaxy many times over. You carry behind your eyes a kind of private cosmos, vast beyond any easy imagining, and it is woven impossibly fine. Take a single fragment of brain, a piece no larger than a grain of sand, and within it lies a tangle of connections so dense and so intricate that simply drawing the map of that one tiny speck can fill an almost unimaginable amount of computer memory. Mile upon mile of delicate wiring, folded and braided together in a space smaller than a fingernail. Every thought you have ever had, every face you remember, every word in every language you know, is held somewhere in the shifting pattern of this fine and living lacework. The whole of it, mapped out completely, is still far beyond our reach. We have managed to trace, connection by patient connection, only the very simplest of brains. A tiny worm, with just a few hundred cells, had its entire wiring drawn out in full long ago. More recently, with enormous effort, the brain of a fruit fly with its many thousands of cells was painstakingly mapped from end to end. These were triumphs, hard-won and rightly celebrated, and yet they are as nothing beside the human brain, with its billions upon billions, a structure so vast and so complex that fully charting even a single one remains one of the great unfinished labors of all of science. The most intricate object we have ever found anywhere in the entire universe is the very thing we are each quietly carrying around inside our heads. To feel the size of it another way, imagine trying simply to count those connections, one of them every second, never pausing, never sleeping, never stopping to rest. You would not finish in a year, nor in a single lifetime, nor even in 1,000 lifetimes laid end to end. You could go on counting, without a moment's pause, for far longer than the entire age of the universe, and still not reach the end of the connections folded quietly inside this one small head. And every last one of them is doing something, contributing its tiny part to the seamless flow of your thoughts, your seeing, your remembering. The whole vast structure works together so smoothly, so silently, that you experience nothing at all of its staggering complexity, only the gentle, effortless sense of being awake and alive and here. It is humbling to think that the very thing reading these words, the thing quietly understanding them, is the most complicated arrangement of matter that we have ever come across anywhere in all of creation. And this is perhaps the most astonishing thought of all. That same brain, that private galaxy of billions of cells and trillions of connections, is the very thing that looks up at the night sky and wonders. The cosmos out there with all its countless stars is being contemplated by a cosmos in here, every bit as vast and strange and deep. When you gaze up into the gleaming dark and feel that quiet awe rising within you, it is one immensity beholding another. The universe, in some sense, has grown for itself a small, soft organ with which to marvel at its own existence. And you are holding one right now behind your eyes. It is almost too much to hold, and there is no need at all to hold it. You can simply let it be there, this quiet wonder, resting lightly upon you in the dark. The very same stardust that formed the distant suns long ago in time settled into the delicate wiring of your brain, so that you are quite literally made of the universe, gathered up and arranged into a shape that can look back out at itself and feel something very like love. So as you lie here now, you need do nothing at all. The great inner galaxy hums along on its own, tending you, dreaming you, asking nothing of you in return. You can let your attention drift slowly inward, down among your own countless quiet stars, and feel yourself settle into that soft and boundless dark within, every bit as deep and as peaceful as the wide night sky overhead. Drift gently now among the stars you carry inside you, and let them slowly, one by one, begin to dim towards sleep. Tonight, like nearly every animal that has ever lived, you will lie down and surrender yourself to sleep. It is the most ordinary thing in the world, and also one of the very strangest. Every night, you give up your awareness for hours on end. You let go of the world entirely. You leave yourself defenseless, unable to watch for danger, unable to act, lost to everything around you. By the cold logic of survival, this ought to be a reckless thing to do, an open invitation to harm. And yet not a single creature with a complex enough mind has ever escaped the need for it. The lion sleeps. The tiny bird sleeps, tucked safe in the branches. Fish hang nearly motionless in the dark water, resting in their own quiet way. Even the smallest and simplest of creatures fall into something very like slumber. Across the whole great sweep of life, in every corner of the living world, the same nightly surrender plays out, over and over, as it has for as long as there have been creatures to grow weary. And here is the deep and genuine mystery of it. Despite how universal it is, despite how plainly vital, we still do not fully know why we must sleep. Nature is a fierce and unsentimental editor, forever trimming away anything that costs more than it gives. If sleep were truly as wasteful and as dangerous as it looks from the outside, surely some creature, somewhere, would long ago have found a way to do without it. But none ever has. The danger has never once been edited away. And this tells us, beyond any real doubt, that sleep must be doing something so essential to life that no living mind can go without it for long. We simply cannot yet say with full and final certainty what that essential something truly is. There are several beautiful answers, and each is best held as a leading idea rather than a closed case. One of the strongest is that sleep is when the brain locks in what it has learned, taking the loose and scattered experiences of the day and gently weaving them into lasting memory, sorting and storing all through the night, so that you wake with the day before more firmly woven into who you are. There is good evidence for this, and it is a lovely thought, that you grow a little wiser in your sleep. Another idea, newer and the subject of lively scientific debate, suggests that during sleep, the brain quietly washes itself clean. clearing away the waste that gathers in its tissues through a long day of thinking. Like a gentle tide coming in across a shore at night and carrying away whatever the day has left behind. Researchers are still working out the details of all this, still testing and questioning, still uncertain of just how the whole picture fits together. The full and final answer has not yet arrived. Some creatures need it so deeply and yet can so little afford to drop their guard that they have found astonishing ways to have it both ways at once. Certain dolphins and certain birds can let just one half of the brain fall asleep at a time, while the other half stays gently awake, keeping a single eye open, holding the body afloat in the water or aloft on the wing, watching quietly for any danger. Then, after a while, the two halves trade places, and the rested side takes up the watch, while the weary side at last sinks down into sleep. Even when sleep is at its most dangerous to take, life does not simply go without it. It finds a way. It splits itself in two, does whatever it must, rather than miss the rest it cannot live without. And that alone tells you how deep the need for sleep must run, woven into the very core of what it means to be alive. There is a deep comfort in that, if you let it settle softly over you. We have peered deep into the heart of the atom and out to the very edge of the universe, and yet this simplest and most knightly of acts, the very thing you're about to do right now, still keeps its quiet secret from us. You are about to step, as you do every single night, into one of the last true mysteries, a mystery shared by every creature that has ever drawn breath and grown tired and closed its eyes. And you do not need to solve it. You never have. You need only do what every living thing already knows, deep in its very bones, exactly how to do. So let yourself go now, fully and without holding anything back. Let your body grow heavy and warm. Let the long quiet rise up to meet you. You are not falling away from life by sleeping. You are doing one of the most ancient and necessary things that life has ever done. Joining hands across all the ages with every creature that ever rested in the dark. Surrender to it gently, my friend, the way the whole living world surrenders to it each and every night, and let the great soft mystery of sleep carry you down and softly under. And if you are still here with me, still awake in the quiet, there is no need to stir at all. You can simply close your eyes and let these wonders settle around you, like soft snow falling silently in the dark. There is nothing left to do tonight and nowhere at all that you need to be. But if sleep has not yet come to carry you off and you would like to keep drifting a little while longer, another gentle journey is always waiting for you, ready to lead you on through the quiet dark. Let it begin whenever you wish, and let my voice stay with you a little longer into the night. For now, though, let yourself grow heavy and warm and wonderfully still. Let your breathing slow. Let that great and mysterious instrument behind your eyes, the one that has carried you so faithfully through every single day of your life, finally rest. You have wandered tonight through some of the deepest riddles in all the universe, and you carry every one of them quietly inside you here in the dark as you drift off to sleep. Rest now, my friend. Sleep deeply and sleep well, and sweet dreams among the stars.